This is Neutral Ice.
Buffalo selects Jack Eichel.
I feel like I've been a part of Buffalo for a little bit now, but, nothing was ever set in stone until, Tim Murray had called my name on stage. And it's tough to put into words right now. It's an organization I wanted to be a part of. There's so many positive things going on there, and this is a dream come true.
Buffalo's best hockey show every Monday night.
You can take a game over by himself because he's just so strong. He's so physical. He can be nasty if he has to be. He has played against men and thrived against men. This is not going to be a big transition for Jack Eichel. Plays the game at a high level, a very high level in every aspect. And at the 716 Sports Bar at the Harbor Center in Buffalo, they're partying on now because not only did they get Jack Eichel, but they've also gotten Ryan O'Reilly in a trade with the Colorado Avalanche.
Colorado trades Ryan O'Reilly and Jamie McGinn to Buffalo in exchange for Nikita Zadorov, Mikhail Grigorenko, and J.D. Comfer, and pick number 31 in the 2015 NHL Draft.
I think I might be one of the happiest guys. It's been a big day for the Sabres, where we started out this morning when we woke up and knowing we were the second pick and most likely getting Jack Eichel. A lot of additions in a lot of areas, and it's pretty exciting as this day unfolded. He talked about getting a little bit better every day, and I think he got ahead of himself today. We're a lot better team after today's draft and after today's moves.
Now, here are your hosts, Nick Lippa and Jack Sullivan.
The Buffalo Sabres have just become a real player in the Eastern Conference. They really have.
On Buffalo's original alternative, 91.3 FM, WBNY.
You're listening to Neutral Ice. Jody Biasi, Brayton Wilson, Frank Arcuri, and Derek Kramer in studio. This is the most influential Neutral Ice show that we have done.
Why do you say that?
After the draft.
Yeah, why do you say that?
Most impactful.
Why do you say that?
Because
I'm
Friday,
playing Bevo O'Reilly.
Friday was
Everything.
I'm going to argue, was the most impactful day in Sabres history. Arguably.
I find that hard to believe.
Nope.
If you live in a cave.
Okay, I'll believe it.
If you live in a cave, here's a quick update for you. Buffalo Sabres drafted Jack Eichel second overall. And shortly before that,
big shock.
they traded Nikita Zadorov.
Trades.
Where was that one?
Nikita
Brayton?
Zadorov, as Gary Bettman calls him, Mikhail Grigorenko.
Mikhail Grigorenko.
Yeah.
And Nikita Zadorov.
JT Comfer and the 31st overall pick to
It
acquire
really
Ryan
sounds like
O'Reilly.
It says JD.
To acquire Ryan O'Reilly and Jamie McGinn.
Trades.
Trades are fun.
Trades
really
are
like
very
You really like that tank cannon sound.
Everyone should.
Everyone does.
It's fun.
It's symbolic.
Yeah, it is symbolic.
It's over, though.
Yeah, but let's just have some more fun with it.
Okay, whatever.
So the big day on Friday. Day 2 of the draft was Saturday. Sabres had a second-round pick. Not a lot else happened. Friday, though, is what we need to talk about. The Ryan O'Reilly trade. Zadorov, Grigorenko, Comfer, 31st pick. Also, Sabres trade the 21st overall pick for Robin Lehner and David Legwand, who I can't keep a straight face just whenever I say his name because he's a Buffalo Sabre, which is just strange to think about. First, let's talk about the Lehner trade. It happened first. Did the Sabres overpay for Robin Lehner? Second, should we explore getting a veteran backup, or should we just go with Lehner as the guy?
Well,
they do have Chad Johnson under contract.
They have Chad Johnson, so I think that you just got to ride Chad Johnson because if he's not going to play, then you got to send him through waivers, and I'm sure that nobody's going to claim him. But the fact is that, you're going to have Ullmark in Rochester. You're most likely going to have Lewin back in Rochester because they just tendered him today.
Makarov will have to be somewhere.
Makarov is probably going to be in the
ECHL.
ECHL or in the AHL. Maybe Lewin starts out in the ECHL. But, I think that our goaltending situation is pretty much set right now. I don't think that there's anybody else that's going to be signed during free agency or anybody that's going to be brought in to help out with Robin Lehner. I think it's just Chad Johnson and Robin Lehner. I don't think there's any chance that Anders Lindback comes back now. And speaking of goaltenders, by the way, Archer Zerbe is not going to be retained as the goaltenders coach. So
Oh, no.
Buffalo's in the market for a new goaltender coach.
Maybe Lindback can be a coach.
But to answer your question about overpaying for Robin Lehner, if it was just the 21st overall pick for Robin Lehner straight up, I would have told you absolutely Buffalo overpaid. Now, I know that they got David Legwand, and, you know, his stats last year were not good. He was a very bad forward. But then again, if you look at the Ottawa Senators team, they rolled basically just 2 or 3 lines for like the last 20 games of the season, because the top 3 lines were the best lines on the team. And then everybody else, they just needed to fill out the roster for the game. They just threw him on the 4th line and said, okay, here's, 6-7 minutes a game. So, and David Legwand, of course, was on those lines. The thing that David Legwand's going to do is he's going to bring you a veteran presence. He's been in the league for, I think, 15 years now. He was the 2nd overall pick in 1998.
99-2000 was his first full season.
So that is 16 years.
16 years.
16 years. Okay. All right. He's played 15 seasons, and this will be his 16th year, I think.
Yep.
If I'm doing my math
because of the
correctly.
lockout.
Yes.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one. So, but, I mean, I'm okay with this move. I really am, especially with what we got with the O'Reilly trade. At first, I was like, well, that's kind of overpaying. But then you look back at it, Robin Lehner technically, considering with his stats and his age, was, arguably the best goaltender available out of Lack, Talbot,
Niemi.
Yeah, Niemi. Throw your hat in there for any goalies to be trade targets. Khudobin. Lehner had probably the most upside, and yes, I know that he had that concussion that was really scary this past season, but Tim Murray knows Robin Lehner. He drafted Robin Lehner. He was Robin Lehner was Tim Murray's goalie the year they won the Calder Trophy. Robin Lehner was the MVP of the Calder Cup playoffs that year.
No one knows Robin Lehner better than Tim Murray.
Pretty much.
Exactly. Robin Lehner went 19-5, I think, the year that they won the Calder Cup. I'm trying to remember. I wrote something about the trade. I'll bring it up right now. Okay. In the
18,
year
10-2.
19.
If I'm looking at the right one.
Why am I having such? Okay. In the playoffs, he was awarded the MVP of the AHL playoffs.
He went 14-4.
14-4
with a 2.1 goals against and a 939 save.
Yeah,
percentage.
939 save percentage. That's ridiculous. 14-4 in the playoffs as well. There was a reason why he was the MVP that year.
Yeah.
And he's 6'3", 225. Some people have him listed as 6'4". Again, I just think that, at first I was like, okay, they overpaid big time. But then I looked back and I saw a tweet from TJ Luckman, who I work with at WGR, comparing the other goalies that were available via trade. And I think it was clear cut and obvious that Robin Lehner was probably, in all reality, the best goaltender available to trade for in the end.
Yeah, Lehner has the highest ceiling. He's the youngest of all the goalies available.
Exactly.
Lack, Talbot were both 27 years old.
And instead of having only 1 or 2 years on a contract, Robin Lehner technically has 4 because he's got 2 years left on his current deal. He'll be a restricted free agent, and then he can probably have 2 more years before he has 2 more years before he goes to unrestricted free agency.
Yes.
So I think that, again, you look at that deal and you think, wow, Buffalo really, really got the right deal there.
Frank, do you think the Sabres overpaid?
No, absolutely not. Everything what Brandon said, I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, I thought they overpaid at first, but then I look back at it and I'm just like, you know what? It's the guy that Murray wanted, and also you also remember too. Do we really have to use that first round pick?
Not really, no.
Exactly.
They probably would have tried swinging a different deal even if they didn't get Lehner.
That first round pick probably would have went to the O'Reilly deal instead of maybe
probably.
like Comfier and the second pick.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm completely 100% on board with this too. We actually have a goaltender now.
Yeah. We have
just as long as he's healthy and if he can play the way he did like in the AHL playoffs and play the way he did in some of the games that we've seen him play for the Senators. Because granted, he's played quite a few games against Buffalo. he was decent. He was pretty good.
I've watched quite a few games where I noticed that he's that kind of player. He's that kind of goalie.
He's got some I don't know how to word this. He's fundamentally sound. It's just there are times where he's, positionally
even
off.
his attitude, they say sometimes is a little aggressive, let's say. So maybe like sometimes like Tim Murray, I think it was Tim Murray that said this, but that a player that comes through his crease is going to get whacked.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes when you're so emotional like that, maybe like it can kind of translate to your positioning, where you think, "Oh, I'm gonna go make this incredible save now because I can." Like just like almost like an ego thing. Derek, do you think that they overpaid? So far, consensus is that we did not.
No, and to add to it, I didn't hate this trade even when we first pulled it off. I thought it was a good deal. It was, it looked like a steep price, but I didn't mind it because he's a young goalie. It's Murray's goalie. He got his pick of the litter, and he was willing to pay a price for that. If his conviction's right, then you've got a goalie for years to come.
Yeah. And the thing about Lehner, I mean, goaltenders especially, they take longer to develop. And Lehner's been playing in the NHL since he was 19 years old. And to this point, he's at a .914 save percentage, which by league standards, it's kind of average.
Not bad for a kid.
But he's a kid.
Bad. Yeah.
You would hope that he's only going to get better. If he's at an average save percentage and then he gets better, you would hope that he can not only become a number one goalie, but that he can become one of the better number one goalies in the NHL. That's the big difference to me between him and Eddie Lack and Cam Talbot, is that Talbot and Lehner, or Talbot and Lack, don't really have the elite potential, say, that Lehner has. And then you also throw in that you get Legwand in this deal, which I don't think should be overlooked because I really think he's going to be the fourth line center.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly, David Legwand to me is a reason that Tim Murray didn't have to pay more for this deal because that contract,
$3 million.
Or David Legwand might be bought out. There's been there's been some talk that it might happen, but I mean, they just bought out Cody Hodgson today, so they might not have to buy out David Legwand anymore.
They don't need to.
I think Legwand was a gift and kind of a savior for not having to overpay, taking on a cap hit of a guy who really, really struggled last year, and added bonus if he's productive on the third or fourth line this year. Everything else is gravy at that point.
A lot of people are kind of down on the Legwand idea because really the only reason he was in the trade is because Ottawa wanted him in it, because they wanted to rid themselves of that cap.
And they shouldn't look at it as a bad thing.
No, because when you look at Legwand's a guy, he's a two-way center, so he can still play a role, even if he's not scoring. And, I mean, you look 2 years ago, he played a full 80, he played actually 83 games because he got traded to Detroit, and he had 51 points.
Wait, last year or
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago,
okay.
I'm saying. He played 83 games. He had 52 points.
Last
year, he had 27.
His career high in points is 63 points in the 2006-2007 season. 27 goals, 36 assists. Last year was a career low with 9 goals and 18 assists, but again, he was playing fourth-line minutes.
I mean, he will be playing fourth-line minutes again.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, if you're getting 9 goals and 18 assists from your fourth-line center, that is an upgrade from what your fourth-line center like Cody McCormick or Matt Ellis is going to give you.
Yeah, exactly. And, put him on a line with McCormick and Delorier.
Or you could throw him out there maybe like Larson and Foligno if you want a little more skill on it.
I mean, I think that Foligno.
See, when you look at the Sabres right now,
happens.
they have so much forward depth. This is before injuries or anything. And
exactly.
This is also assuming maybe Reinhart makes the team.
Mm-hmm.
But the way you look at it right now, when I'm just doing lines, I'm just writing them down on paper, then I've got usually Larson and Foligno on the fourth line. Now, with injuries and such, that's not always going to hold the same hold. So, really, Legwand's going to probably be playing with a guy like Cody McCormick more often than not. But I think he's an upgrade as your fourth-line center.
With Nicholas Delorier.
Right. Yeah, that should have been the first name that I mentioned. Even though I might... No, it's a crazy idea. Delorier back to defense?
No.
I don't think so at this point.
I don't think so.
No.
But again,
unless he has to. Yeah. Like the one game he did have to last year.
He looked okay.
Play defense. Yeah, and I mean, it's just a natural. I mean, defense is his natural position. He was drafted as a defenseman. He developed as a defenseman initially. Then Manchester decided to try and develop him as a winger. Played really well, and then Tim Murray traded for him and said, "Okay, you're playing on the wing." Okay, so
and you do as Tim Murray says.
Yeah, yeah. Because he is your boss technically.
Well, not even that. You just do what he says.
Yeah. So
but again, in regards to Leguan, though, even if he does struggle again this year, it's the fact that his presence did help not having to throw in a prospect or another pick, something that would have interfered with getting Ryan O'Reilly. So I'm more than okay with David Leguan even at his worst on this team.
Yeah, I agree with that. And honestly, I mean, I don't want to get too hung up on Leguan because he really is a minor part of the deal. This trade was about Robin Lehner. I
just want to take all the all the people saying Leguan, why'd that happen?
He's a throw-in. He's found money. Whatever he gives you, that's extra to me in the trade. Now let's transition over to the big trade.
Yes.
Zadorov, Grigorenko, Comfier, 31 for McGinn and Ryan O'Reilly. Bilesma says in his post-draft press conference O'Reilly's going to start as his number one center.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
First, in the trade itself, I'm not okay with trading Zadorov. I think we overpaid a little bit. Do you feel the same way?
No, absolutely not.
No, and honestly, I'm going to break it down by each player and pick here. Grigorenko's trade value honestly was probably at one of the lowest points it could be. But they knew they weren't going to get anything for him if they just decided to continue this groaning match between the two of them. Comfier, it's a prospect, someone that is a center, but you're loaded down there in the pipeline down the middle, so you can throw something in to pay for an asset like McGinn. I feel like Comfier was added in to get McGinn. 31 in Zadorov.
That's an interesting thought, by the way, that he was thrown in to get McGinn. But I kind of agree with that.
And then you look at the big piece, Nikita Zadorov. I mean, yes, he has the potential to be a top pairing defenseman in this league. And while it's too soon to say, but he also has the lowest floor. I think he's a guy that, he's either going
to... It's a lead or bust. A lead or bust for Nikita Zadorov.
A lead or bust, and you're not getting anything in between. You're either getting a guy who's going to be your top pairing, or you're going to get a guy who's going to be constantly sitting in the press box. And I'm willing to give up a chance like that for a Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah, exactly. And you're getting a 24-year-old center who has been playing since he was 19 years old. He's proven. That's the biggest thing, is that he's a proven talent in the NHL and has been consistently a proven talent for the past at least 2 or 3 years. I mean, Nikita Zadorov, that was the best value you're going to get out of him because, who knows? Next year he could have been great and you would have gotten more value, but the uncertainty is there. And that's the thing of it, is that uncertainty, you don't want to take that risk. And Tim Murray talked about early this morning that, his asset, like his value asset, how he evaluates value and how he evaluates his talent is really key in this trade because, he understands, taking value of a player, but, if he can get a considerably bigger player or a proven talent, he's not afraid to make this trade, whereas Darcy Regier would have been like, I don't know if I want to make this trade.
I'd say 27 of the NHL GMs are scared to make that trade.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Darcy Regier never makes that trade.
No, Darcy Regier never would have made that trade, ever.
I would say 2/3 of the NHL doesn't make that trade. Why? Because they're scared of the what if. What if Zadorov does become that top pairing defenseman? What if Mikhail Grigorenko does blow up? And then they look like a fool for it.
And what if Comfier becomes as good as Ryan O'Reilly?
Yeah. And Tim Murray, and this is what I love about him, he's not afraid of that. He's saying, okay, but these guys are proven players right now. Evander Kane has proven that he's capable of playing at a high level. Ryan O'Reilly has proven that he is capable of playing at a high level. They are not like aging veterans. They are young players who are not yet at the prime of their playing career. He's going out and getting these guys aggressively, and he's not scared of the what if. And that's what I want. That's what I want to see out of more general managers in the NHL. Make it more interesting.
Yeah, and a point on Ryan O'Reilly.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you look at O'Reilly's career, he's not that elite center that's going to put up point a game, get 82 points in 82 games. Oh. That's not him. But I mean, if you look at, he's a second round pick in 2009.
Yep.
He played right away, 81 games as an 18-year-old.
And he wasn't projected. He was not even. I mean, like nobody thought Ryan O'Reilly was going to play in the NHL right away.
Right.
I mean, when we were talking when I was in Erie the one day, we were talking about the unexpected departures of players.
O'Reilly played for Erie, by the
Where
way.
it's like, yeah, he played for Erie, and everybody thought, okay, he got drafted, he's not going to leave Erie, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, well, he's playing in the NHL and he's not coming back to Erie, and it was sort of a surprise to the Erie Otters organization because they thought he was coming back, and especially this year they're sort of afraid that Dylan Strome might have the same effect, but I think Dylan Strome needs at least one more year. But then again, the Coyotes, they might play him. They might play him right away.
I would think they might, because
maybe get his 9 games in before he gets his 10th, and then if things are looking up, then maybe they'll have another Grigorenko situation. Darcy Regier is there, and Darcy Regier has done this before.
Darcy Regier was on the stage when they picked Dylan Strome, which I found hilarious.
Oh yeah, well he's the assistant general manager. He's the general manager of the Springfield Falcons.
Yeah.
Which is beyond me, but whatever.
But O'Reilly, when you're looking at him, not a point-a-game player. But what he gives you so much added value in his defensive abilities, his abilities to be responsible on the offensive and defensive end, and the physical game that he brings, and the fact that he can honestly play almost any forward position.
Also, there's another thing to look at here, Joe. If Jack Eichel is to be what everyone says he's going to be, don't rush him into things, and this is where O'Reilly's value comes even more. You could put O'Reilly at the number 1, let Eichel get his feet wet, learn the NHL game, learn the NHL speeds, and not have to play top-line minutes. He doesn't have to be the guy right now because of Ryan O'Reilly, and that's more value added to to the reason to trade for him.
If you look before the trade, Eichel's probably getting the toughest matchup out there, unless you've got Gergensen playing against him. So the other team is going to match up against Eichel. Now you've got O'Reilly. You can throw him out there against the other team's top line. Eichel can honestly play second or third line center now to start the season.
He'll likely play second.
Yeah, I tend to think that there's a chance he might start at third line center just because Gergensen's got more experience under his belt, and he's looked like he's been capable.
Depends on what Bilesma wants to do.
Yeah, Bilesma, by the way, did not mention Reinhardt as a center for the start of the season, but I'm okay with that because I'd rather have him start his career on the wing anyway. I don't really need two. I don't. If you're looking to make the playoffs, I don't want 2 rookie centers.
Either that or he could go to Rochester.
Potentially,
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, there's injuries too. He'd probably be your first call up.
Yeah.
So you're going to see Reinhardt in Buffalo this year.
Oh yeah.
But going back to O'Reilly, he's going to start off as your number 1 center, and he really gives you probably your first capable number 1 center that you've had since Chris Drury and Danny Briere.
Yeah.
You cannot say really they've had one near the level O'Reilly gives you since then. And I kind of like comparing him to Chris Drury because their games are similar, except for O'Reilly's a little more physical. They haven't had a player that's near Drury's skill set.
No. Nope. I agree. I mean, I can't think of another center that came even close to. We thought that Tim Connolly might have that chance. But
then he wore the cursed 19.
Concussions kind of derailed that.
Yeah. The other point I was going to make about O'Reilly, too, I forgot. I'm not happy with myself right now.
He was the takeaway leader in 2013-2014. And
he won the Lady Bing.
Oh, the fact that he can play wing, too. Because
Mm-hmm.
in my idea going forward is I want Eichel as my number 1 center, Reinhardt is my number 2, Gergensen is my number 3. That should be my plan going forward. I love that O'Reilly has so much experience playing on the wing and that he can make an easy transition over to that.
Yeah.
That's hugely important to me.
Oh, because, I mean, he's kind of had to be thrown around with that Colorado roster. Yeah. He's had to be thrown around everywhere. It's like, Matt Duchene and, especially when Nate McKinnon came in, he kind of just got jumbled around and had to play wing, had to play some center. And now look at him. He's probably one of the better versatile forwards in the NHL. I mean, I can't necessarily say he is the best, but I mean, he's probably I'd say top 20 at least.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, definitely not like a top tier versatile forward, but he's definitely top 20, top 25, somewhere in that range.
So let me ask this question now. O'Reilly, you've got your center. Who would be the 2 guys that you would put on his wings? John Bergenheim.
the cat.
Jordan Eberle.
There you go. Good job, Braden. Evander Kane going on O'Reilly's wing, and I would say Tyler Ennis.
Okay. Frank?
I like that. I'm kind of leaning towards keeping Ennis with Molson and then probably inserting Eichel there.
Or Gergensons.
Ennis, by the way, played with
Or
O'Reilly
Gergensons.
at the World Championships. Not on the same line, I think, but
They were on the same
They were on the
team.
same team, yeah.
Yeah.
Ennis was on a line with Tyler Sagan and
Giroux.
Claude Giroux, yep.
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Seguin.
Tyler Seguin.
Tyler Seguin.
Yes, that one.
I don't know, honestly. Like I don't really know. Like I like putting Kane there. I really like putting Kane there. And if you put a guy like Gergensons there or even Ennis, I'm not gonna complain about. I'm not gonna complain about it. I wouldn't even complain if they put Reinhardt there.
Ooh.
Interesting. I probably would trust O'Reilly with one of the rookies more than probably anyone else. The way I have it set up is I had O'Reilly with Kane and Ennis as your top line, and then I have Reinhardt on the wing with Gergensen and Molson, and then I like putting Eichel on the third line with McGinn and Gianta to start the year.
I think it's important that you want to put Eichel with a player like Gianta, because Gianta is going to be that type of player that's going to, kind of, raise him up to the NHL level and raise him up to be a veteran type of player in this league. I mean, the fact is that arguably Brian Gianta is probably one of the more influential players on this team, and that's why he was named captain he was named captain for a reason. Yep. So to start Eichel out on a line with Brian Gianta, I think I think that would be the 100% right choice. And then eventually, as the year goes on, you move him up to the second line, give him a little more responsibilities, put him on, the second power play unit or the first power play unit, and let him, learn the game, catch up to the pace of the game, and then go from there.
His way up.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't even have to be the center on the power play either.
He doesn't have to be the best player right away, and that's the
BU,
thing.
I think he played point.
At BU, he played point because his shot is so good.
Yeah.
And, he could play point on the power play, but I don't think that Buffalo's going to do it. I think that the best place to put him would probably be
on the right wing, probably.
Probably on the it would be the right side of the ice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because on the
left side you have either Molson or Kane.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that all depends on how they're going to do it, because you never know what they're.
That, or you can have Eichel taking faceoffs and then just put him right along the the right side faceoff circle.
Yeah, if he can
put him right where Stamkos loves to be. Stamkos loves the right side faceoff circle on both sides of the ice. That's his bread and butter right there.
Yeah.
Eichel, I could see Eichel being sort of like Stamkos, where you put him on that right side of the ice. But then again, if you got Nick Baptiste coming up, that was his bread and butter when he was in Erie, especially on the power play. You got two guys, so you can put Eichel on the point and then Baptiste on the right side.
But that you're going like 2-3
But then again, Baptiste isn't going to play at the NHL level probably for another year or two full time.
I think maybe 1 year he's ready.
He might get, depending on injuries and everything, he might get called up once or twice this year.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be the first one to get called up.
Well, there's not a
lot
of
there's a call-up need.
At this point, they'll probably sign some veterans at some point, just as depth, but Baptiste is a guy that really might be one of the first call-ups, honestly.
I would say Baptiste, Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey.
Those two are going to be among the call-up list.
Real quick, anyone think they might keep O'Reilly with McGinn? Played on the same line in Colorado.
No.
Unfortunately, no. The role that Ryan O'Reilly has is now the top line center.
McGinn will not be.
McGinn will probably be third or fourth line.
Only if injuries happen, and a lot of them, will McGinn step up to top 6 minutes and play with O'Reilly.
Marcus Foligno's going to be down on the fourth line wing.
I think he goes third.
You can put him either one now.
Yeah. You have flexibility between the two.
Okay. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what the Sabres still need and also other trade rumors in the NHL, including why haven't the Toronto Maple Leafs traded anyone yet? You're listening to Neutral Ice. We'll be back. .3 FM, WBNY, Buffalo. Buffalo's Original Terrorist Society 2. Yeah, they're making Top Gun 2, by the way.
I'm so excited.
You actually did it. You actually did it.
I did it.
I chuckled and smiled.
Top Gun.
It's like the greatest news I've heard in a long time.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Bigger than the O'Reilly trade news.
Maybe not as big as that, but and anything non-hockey related, yes.
Apparently, it will pin Tom Cruise against drones.
That would be interesting.
Drone warfare. With Tom Cruise.
I'm almost like I'm almost like at that point of I don't care how the movie turns out. I'm just happy that there's another Top Gun coming out.
Kind of like
I just hope the Navy.
That
will
was
help
kind
out
of like
with this
me with
movie.
Anchorman. Fell far
I haven't
short
seen
of
Anchorman 2 yet.
Wow.
Haven't even seen
that's
it.
Fine.
You
That's
saw the
fine.
first one?
No, really.
Yes, I saw the first
right.
one.
You're not missing
You
out.
honestly,
You're not missing much.
I think you should watch it, but you will not be satisfied.
From what I
I'm
hear-
hoping that Jason, who comes in and talks movies after our show, talks some Top Gun 2 tonight.
Yeah.
That or on my drive home, I will call him and be like, "How about Top Gun 2?" And then I'll hang up and listen.
Yes.
But
So I look forward to
Yes.
Top Gun 2.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? That's the question. Who wouldn't look forward to it?
Young people that haven't seen it.
Because
Truth.
young people who haven't seen a 1986 classic movie you must be living under a rock if you haven't watched that.
You're my eyes, Goose. My favorite line from the movie. I used to say that to Paul Gostad all the time. All right. Back to hockey. Although I don't think Brayton wants to.
No, we'll go back to hockey.
He agrees. All right.
You crazy dog.
Well,
I would love to talk Top Gun 2 all day, and I could give you every line from Top Gun.
You could come on Movie Madness after.
And
Take over. Take over
Yeah.
Movie Madness.
Yeah.
We're talking Top Gun tonight. All right. Other than the Sabres trade, there were a lot of other big trades on draft day. Draft day's become kind of like what everyone wants trade deadline day to be. A lot of trades.
Trades.
There it is.
I'm going to throw it around the room. What was the most impactful trade in your mind?
dare I say?
Say you.
My favorite trade that was pulled off at draft day was Patrick McNelly to the San Jose Sharks for a seventh round pick in this year's draft.
Good job. Way to pull the rug out from everyone.
Good job, Brayden.
All right.
Good job, Brayden. Let's start with Derek.
Oh boy, I got a great core workout on Friday. If anyone was listening, I had to actually leave from the chair you were sitting in, Joe, because the Boston Bruins decided they needed to trade Dougie Hamilton to Calgary, and
Boston has since become the new Toronto Maple Leafs.
yes, it has become like, oh boy, Nick Lippa and I, we ran with the Twitter. We ran wild. It got fun.
It's for our first installment of What's Wrong with the Boston Bruins?
Don Sweeney.
What's wrong with the Boston Bruins?
What was worse, dumping Hamilton or dumping Lucic?
Hamilton,
because you actually got a decent return for Lucic.
and Hamilton. And
They didn't use
Hamilton's
it.
Future.
They didn't use that return very well.
No,
They
didn't.
but the pick that they traded Hamilton for, they reached on a player who was supposed to go in the second round.
Well, actually, no. The one that they got from Lucic, they used pretty well. Jakub Zaboral.
yes.
Yeah.
The one that they got from Calgary, Zachary Senyshyn. Oh my God.
Yes, this was the deal that
Brayton ran
I
him
had to
ranked
get up
55th.
out of the studio. I had to just walk away and start laughing.
He was ranked 40th
40th.
by Bob McKenzie. I had him ranked 55th, and he was taken 15th.
I didn't
Wasn't
do
he on
a
the
ranking.
fourth line in Sault Ste. Marie?
No,
No,
he was on second line.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no.
That's what I thought I read was that he was on fourth line. He was fourth liner at Sault Ste. Marie this year.
Yeah, well, you know,
All you need to know is my ranking wasn't big enough to have him included on it.
I want to say he was on second or third line.
but that's on a
Still
junior
15th?
team.
Yeah, that's on a junior team.
Now he's Boston.
Zachary Senyshyn is going to take a little while to develop. He's not going to be ready in a couple of years. He needs 3 or 4 years. And Boston could have waited till the second round to get him. I mean, I don't think... I mean,
they could have traded back.
Maybe he would have gone early second round. Because, I mean, Mitchell Stevens went early second round to Tampa Bay. And Mitchell Stevens, I had nowhere close ranked in not even close to the top 30, 40 picks. I had Mitchell Stevens, I think, like 93rd on my rankings. So, I mean, a lot of the rankings, a lot of the players this year, there were surprisingly a lot of, higher end prospects that were ranked high on not only my rankings, but like Bob McKenzie's, Craig Button's, Damian Cox's from Sportsnet, that were ranked in like the top 30, top 40, and they went late second round, early third round. Nikita Korostelev fell to the 7th round.
Yeah, he did.
He was supposed to be a second round pick, and he fell to the 7th round of the Maple Leafs. How the heck does that happen?
I no answer.
I don't have an answer neither. Here's some of the names that went, second. Let's start in the first round because there was a couple of names that fell pretty deep. Travis Konechny was supposed to be a top 10, 20 pick, and he fell 24 to Philadelphia. Nick Merkley fell to 30 to Arizona.
Very surprised by that
I
one.
was very surprised on that. Nick Merkley, maybe 5'10", 5'11", but he plays such a physical game. He's like Tyler Ennis. He'll go hit guys that are 6'3" and make them look like a guy that was 6'7" hit them. Nick Merkley's physical game developed so much over, this whole season. To start out, he was small, but then, as he progressed, he got physically stronger. He's an assist machine. He feeds the puck to just about anybody he can. For him to fall to 30 was just absolutely beyond me. And by the way, NBC Sports Network, shame on you for not showing that final pick. That was ridiculous.
They went to what?
Track and field. Track and field championships.
Unbelievable.
NBC Sports Network, you're a joke.
10-13.
And I have no shame in saying that. You do not cut out of coverage of the NHL draft. You did it with the Stanley Cup Finals too on NBC. And then you went to NBCSN. But you go from network TV to cable TV, where some people are going to be like, oh, well, I want to watch the celebrations more. I want to watch some interviews. And it's like, no, we're going to cut to NBCSN, and the people that don't have cable are just left completely in the dark.
You think ESPN,
it's a joke.
You think ESPN's ever going to cut off the last pick of the NFL draft? No.
They wouldn't cut off the last pick.
Last pick of the NBA draft.
NBA draft wouldn't get cut off. ABC didn't cut off the end of the Golden State Warriors championship rally or championship celebration.
Yeah.
It's
unbelievable.
You have the rights to broadcast the NHL. If you do that again, I don't know why the NHL isn't just running to the Rockefeller Center, going up to NBCSN's offices and being like, what the hell are you doing?
Gary Bettman and Pierre Maguire fight cage match style.
I might actually pay to see that.
Pierre Maguire would just bite ankles. That's all he can really do.
Just creep out Gary.
All right, let's get back to the conversation.
Back to trades. I'll run through some of the trades real quick. Tell me who won. Griffin Reinhart for number 16th and 33rd pick. Edmonton or New York?
I'm gonna say.
Man, that's a tough one.
To me, it was easy, but I also I don't know. Maybe Garth Snow just has a bad taste in my mouth. I think Edmonton robbed him, but they also got Barzal.
Griffin Reinhart was what, a 4th or 5th overall pick?
Fourth overall pick.
In
2012.
In 2012.
To me, it's just kind of looking like, they traded. It's like trading the 4th overall pick for the 16th and 2nd, which to me is outrageous value, but it is 2 years later. And Barzal was the pick for the
Reinhart's going
Islanders.
to play immediately in Edmonton.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately. And not only that, but he was the captain of the Edmonton Oil Kings when they went to the Memorial Cup and won it all.
I think Reinhardt's got
I don't know if they won it all that
potential.
year, but I can't remember. But still, they won the Western Hockey League championship with Edmonton. They won it.
They didn't. The year they won it, Pizik was captain.
Okay, well,
So it might have
Griffin
been a different
Reinhart
year.
won the Western Hockey League championship, though, as a captain of the Oil Kings as well.
Yeah.
They've had some really good captains lately in that organization. They had Henrik Samuelsson last year, who won the Memorial Cup. They had Griffin Reinhart the last time they won the Western Hockey League Championships, and then they had Mark Pezic. Some really decent captains.
So push for this trade?
I mean, I think Edmonton, the price that they had to give up. I mean, they gave up a high second rounder, and then they also gave up their 16th overall pick. A little high, but I mean, for a kid that's barely played any NHL action. But then again, the Islanders have had decent defensive depth, and they didn't really need Reinhart in the first place because they had Thomas Hickey playing. But, Reinhart could have played in the NHL for sure last year, but for whatever reason, the Islanders didn't see fit that he was ready, and I think that
Vishnowsky should get that ice time.
Yeah, it's amazing that defense won because Thomas Hickey was surprisingly enough a top 10 pick 2005, I want to say.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, with the LA Kings, and he was considered a bust, and now he's playing with the Islanders, and he's playing somewhat decent, I guess. Not the greatest of a defenseman, but he's playing top 4 minutes with the Islanders, and then in the playoffs, he just whatever.
Hickey went 4th overall in 2007.
4th in 2007.
Man,
wow, I was kind of off, but
a
little bit.
Whatever.
Maybe they're trying to make sure that history doesn't repeat themselves.
So, with the trades, and then looking at some of these other players here, because some teams moved up, some teams moved down. Colorado took that 31st pick that they got in the O'Reilly trade, and they immediately swapped that with San Jose and got a couple of picks. They took A.J. Greer, 39th overall, Boston University, Jack Eichel's teammate. Some of the other names that fell, Paul Bittner wasn't one that fell. He was supposed to be a first-round pick, and he fell to
I had the Sabres taking him at 21.
Blue Jackets at 38.
Yeah. Steal.
I had him going 20 to Minnesota, but Minnesota took Joel Eriksson Ek. That's one of the great names of the draft. Joel Eriksson Ek.
That was a good pick, though.
I think it's great. Jansen Harkins fell to 47 to the Winnipeg Jets. Daniel Sprong fell to 46. It's actually kind of weird how this all happened because it was sort of like Matt Spencer fell to the Lightning at 44. Then it was Jakob Forbaka Karlsson, Daniel Sprong, Jansen Harkins, Philippe Schlappick, and then Rupa Hintz and Jordan Greenway. So, I mean, that's some good talent there.
Yeah.
From the 5 or 6 names that I just mentioned, they were projected to be right up there. Yeah. And then they fell to the mid-second round, and a lot of people were thinking, holy cats, is a guy like Jordan Greenway or Jansen Harkins or Daniel Sprong going to fall to Buffalo at 51? Unfortunately, they didn't.
Oliver Kylington did, but they didn't decide to select him.
Yeah, I mean, Oliver Kylington is just high. It's like Nikita Zadorov, high risk and high reward. You're either going to be a bust or a elite player.
They took a more sure thing with Brendan Gould.
Oh, yeah.
Not that he is a sure thing, but more.
I mean, I like Brendan Gould's game, though.
Yeah.
Brendan Gould is...
I think it's combine on fire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he surprised some people at the combine, but
he becomes their top defensive prospect.
He
without
moves
NHL
he moves the puck very well. He's a decent skater. He's physical. He can hit. He loves to hit. He loves to take hits. From what I was hearing is that he just his composure isn't exactly there yet, but he's still got time to develop. He's going to take a few years. But I could see Brendan Gould being an impact player in 3 to 4 years with the Sabres. I think it's absolutely possible. With the way that this draft is so deep as it is, I could see him. I honestly, with the way that I saw a few of his highlights, I could see him being anywhere from 3 defensemen to 7, 3 to 7 in the NHL.
Yeah, I can see
the potential's there.
I can see that. Back to trades.
Yeah, trades.
Waiting for it.
There it is.
There it is. All right. Just real quick.
Sorry.
Give me who won. Kyle Palmieri for a 2nd and 3rd round pick. To the Devils. By the way, sneaky good trade, I think, for the Devils there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They need scoring in the worst way.
Not that Palmieri's like some great scorer, but he's a good young
better
forward.
than what they have.
He'll be a nice 3rd line addition for the Devils. I think that
he's
young.
The
They don't have a lot of young forwards.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they just harbored all the old players before they traded them all at the deadline.
Yeah,
So I say Devils win this trade.
I say the Devils win this trade. It's a sneaky good trade, like you said, Joe, and you know what? Good for them to try to actually stock up on one of the biggest weaknesses they have.
Young forwards. Yeah. Okay.
Next.
Eddie Lack to the Carolina Hurricanes for a 3rd and a 7th round pick.
That was a really good trade for Carolina.
Carolina
Great
definitely
value.
won that
Yeah,
trade.
definitely.
Carolina.
I think Eddie Lack will start over Cam Ward.
Well, Cam
He
Ward is
definitely
a
game
UFA,
one.
isn't he?
Huh?
Cam Ward, I believe, is UFA.
1 year left on his contract.
okay.
$6 million cap.
Most expensive backup you'll ever see in your life. Not true. Kerry Lettinen.
Well, as of today, yeah.
Next one. Carl Hagelin to the Anaheim Ducks. Also a 2nd round and a 6th round pick for Emerson Edom in the Ducks' 2nd round pick.
I think the Ducks got better with speed with acquiring Hagelin because
But I think New York won.
I mean,
It's a push to me.
you know,
Edom's a good young forward. I
Edom's
don't
a
like him
good
because he
young
said he hates Buffalo.
But again, Edom is one of those prospects where, you know, he's either going to be really good or he's just going to be average.
like you saw that goal, him in the playoffs.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
he's
that
capable.
goal, he's
but you don't know if he's going to
absolutely
reach
capable.
it.
But I mean, he hasn't shown it yet. He hasn't shown enough of it yet to really make that determination. Where we've seen Carl Hagelin play really, really well.
You've convinced me. I
think Anaheim won that trade.
Anaheim wins.
And you know, the funny thing is that the Rangers gave up. Seems like they gave up more.
Yeah, I know, because they gave up a 6 as well.
Yeah.
But they gave up. Well, the Ducks' 2nd round pick would have been higher, I think.
It was higher, but
They
I mean,
swapped seconds.
Yeah, but I mean, but still, I mean, to give up.
It's weird.
I mean,
Hagelin was
to
also
give
a
up
bigger
Carl
cap,
Hagelin for. I mean, Carl Hagelin is small, but he's so fast. He's one of the fastest players in the NHL.
Maybe the fastest skater in the NHL.
Yeah, one of the fastest skaters. I mean,
So-
they did. I mean, you know, Anaheim. You know, they did beat everybody with physicality, but I mean, Cogliano's fast, and now they've got Carl Hagelin, who's really fast.
Yeah.
Anaheim is gonna be decent next year.
Yeah,
They
I
got-
could see that.
They
I can
definitely
see
got better with that trade.
Next trade. Cam Talbot to the Edmonton Oilers, as well as a 7th round pick for the Rangers. And they give up a 2nd and a 3rd round pick to the Rangers.
Edmonton gets a goaltender finally that they believe can be a starter in the NHL, where they thought that Ben Scrivens would be, but
I don't
that-
think he'll. I think the Rangers won this trade.
I think the Rangers won this trade.
I'm not as
because
high on Talbot as others.
I think Talbot.
Yeah.
I mean, Henrik Lundqvist puts up those numbers because Lundqvist is Lundqvist.
But
Talbot, I'm thinking, was possibly a product of a really stacked Rangers team.
Yeah.
That's
oh
what
yeah,
I've
of
been
course.
thinking, too.
But the thing is that I mean, you know, Edmonton did get Griffin Reinhart, and they also
And
traded
Gryba.
for Eric Gryba, which is another trade we'll get to. But the fact is that they're kind of reloading on defense. They might have Darnell Nurse playing in the NHL full time next year, which I think is a very high possibility.
I think they should.
And Nurse, I think Nurse should too. Nurse is a great two-way defenseman who, you know, was the leader of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds in their remarkable season that they had, even though they lost the Erie Otters in the conference finals.
Only defenseman I ever watched in juniors be able to contain McDavid. Now, he
yeah.
wasn't able to do it the whole game, of course.
Oh, no.
But he was able to do it sometimes.
But I mean, every time that McDavid was on the ice, I mean, it was a challenge for him to get around.
Well, he's lucky. He's never going to have to contain him again.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's going to be
Except
his
in
teammate.
practice.
Yeah. Except in practice. But
I still think good for New York to get rid of a goaltender that isn't really in their plans.
And get a 2nd and 3rd round pick.
yeah, and get a 2nd and 3rd round pick. That's the big thing. It's just, you know, Edmonton got their goaltender that they wanted to have, and if it works out for them, that's excellent because Cam Talbot could be a very good goaltender.
True.
He proved it when Henrik Lundqvist went out. He had some games where he was phenomenal. I mean, the Rangers got outshot, and still he was standing on his head. So, it could go either way. I have Edmonton winning this trade because, you know, they get a goaltender that they believe is going to help them out in the future.
They'll start for them
and
immediately.
and I got to give Edmonton credit. They were aggressive with this trade. They were aggressive. They wanted a goaltender. They needed to get one, and they preferred Talbot, and they went out and got him. 2nd and 3rd round pick. Okay. Fine by me.
Okay. Split decision on that one. Next trade. Anaheim Ducks trade James Wisniewski to the Carolina Hurricanes for Anton Khudobin.
A lot of people thought the trade to Anaheim with Khudobin was a head-scratcher because does that make John Gibson available or Frederik Andersen? It does not. What they're going to do is they're going to have Anton Khudobin as the backup. Freddie Andersen is going to start, and John Gibson is probably going to spend the entire year in the AHL because he does not need waivers to go to the AHL if he gets sent down. And that's huge because John Gibson is going to be a very good goaltender in this league. We saw it in the World Juniors when he won gold with Team USA 2 years ago. He just needs more time to develop. He needs that ice time to play.
Yes.
And it's as simple as that. Put him in the AHL where he'll play most of the season down there and just let him play. I mean, he's going to be playing with the San Diego Gulls of the AHL, by the way. I don't know how I feel about the name. I mean, I think it's a great name for an AHL team.
I do.
The
Makes
Gulls.
sense for San Diego.
It's interesting. It's different.
Their goal horn should
different
just be
for
a
San Diego.
seagull just like going off.
And then
They are very annoying.
And then instead of confetti flying from the ceiling, it's just bird poop, seagull poop,
Or actual seagulls.
Or actual seagulls.
actual
flying.
seagulls.
But
Oh, great!
Yes, I
That'd
think
be
that
awesome.
Along with Gibson playing in the AHL for a majority of the season, they might not be done dealing the goaltenders that they have. I mean, trade deadline next year, we're probably looking at Khudobin or Anderson getting dealt.
Possibly.
Depending
Well,
on the
probably
kind of
more
season.
likely Khudobin.
I think Khudobin doesn't he have 1 year left on his
1 year.
contract, anyways? Yeah, so he'll be a free agent, and then he may go back to the KHL.
Or
Who knows?
Unless he can find a starting job.
Yeah, and then after this upcoming year, I mean, it's going to be Anderson against Gibson, unless Anderson's completely solidified himself. Then maybe Anaheim would entertain offers for Gibson, and I'm sure the return for Gibson would be quite a bit.
Oh, it would be a ton.
It would be a lot.
If Leonard landed a first-round pick,
Anaheim's going to get a first rounder and then probably another good
Great
prospect too.
Really
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
prospect.
Okay.
Yeah, Anaheim won this trade.
Okay.
James Wisniewski's just a tire fire.
yeah,
Other
and a
trade.
massive cap hit
That
that
was
they got
just
rid of.
a trade that they
Columbus
should
when
never
Columbus
have made.
signed him,
They didn't know what they were
it
thinking.
was no, they did not know. I mean, James Wisniewski, he's all right on the power play, but I mean, he can't stay healthy. It just was a horrible, horrible turnout for the Columbus Blue Jackets. They signed him thinking he was going to be this great power play guy and, able to help them out on both sides of the ice, and it just ended up being a disaster. They were even lucky to just trade him at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that Anaheim wins this deal.
All right. Not a lot of other big trades that we can judge.
Trade.
Milan Lucic. We didn't go over that
How
one.
did I miss that?
You're welcome.
Thank you. Milan Lucic.
What about the Patrick McNally trade?
Or a Hall of Famer was traded.
Oh
That's
God! As of today, Hall of Famer.
Yes. Chris Pronger sent to the Arizona Coyotes.
Interesting.
Also, there was a nice minor trade. Conrad Abdelasor, whatever his name is, but his first name's Conrad.
Trades.
He was traded to the Blues. But yeah, let's go through the Lucic trade, and then there's also trades after. Another trade Boston made. First, let's do the Lucic one. Milan Lucic traded to the LA Kings, which to me essentially means Justin Williams will hit free agency, by the way.
That was already confirmed.
That Justin Williams will hit free agency?
Yeah, we
Good
kind
to
of
know.
kind of figured that out.
Juicy rumors.
We kind of
Where was that one?
Just lost the trade. There it is. All right, so Lucic to the Kings. The 13th overall pick, which was used on Jacob Zaboral.
Yep.
Martin Jones and Colin Miller to the Bruins. I think LA wins.
I'm gonna go the Kings. Mainly also too that they were able to get Boston to retain some salary on Lucic.
Yes, that is huge.
Half
That
his
was
salary,
huge.
I think.
I'm
a
gonna
little
say
less than half.
I'm gonna say the Bruins won this trade.
Yeah.
The Bruins won this trade because they got rid of Lucic's cap. They used their 13th pick to get Jakob Zaboral, which was a huge upgrade for them.
don't
Then
see
they
what-
also got Colin Miller, who's a pretty
Yeah.
good defensive prospect
Yeah.
for the Kings.
He is.
I mean, he was a shutdown defender in the entire Calder Cup playoffs for Manchester. He played really, really well. And now the Bruins have got him on a team that's, defensively older. And Colin Miller, I mean, he may play half a season in Providence this year before getting called up to Boston. He's bigger. I think he's like 6'4", 215 or something like that.
Colin Miller?
Yeah.
Listed at 6'1".
6'1". All right. Well, then I'm completely off. I
Yeah.
thought
The wrong Colin Miller, maybe?
maybe it was the wrong Colin Miller.
Or maybe
Well-
he's gotten shorter.
Or he has gotten shorter. Who knows?
That would be
He was on his
interesting.
tippy toes, and the Kings didn't notice.
6'1", but I mean, still, he's a. I mean,
He's not small by any means.
no. Yeah, I mean,
He's got a cannon of a shot.
yes, he does. 70 games, 52 points.
It's good.
He's
That's-
arguably one of the Kings' top defensive prospects.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I give Boston the notch on this because they used that pick that they got from them right. They get a really good defensive prospect, and then they get Martin Jones, which,
I
he
think
can
they
back
could
up.
spin him off.
Oh, I think they could spin him off. I
don't
think
know
there's
if they
plenty of
will.
time. I mean, he's a restricted free agent too, so they could let him. I mean, it's like what, August something where you have to sign or qualify your restricted free agents before they hit free agent. I mean, there's tendering your free agents now until July 1st, but then there's some restricted free agents, if you can't get them signed, they hit arbitration or something like that. I think that if they hit arbitration or if they aren't signed by some point in August, they hit unrestricted free agency.
Yeah.
So, which I don't know. They might try and trade him. They might try and trade Malcolm Subban too.
Juicy rumors.
I would love.
I just had to
Sabres
throw that
get
out
him.
there.
It kind of would make more sense.
Well, I mean, they
sense,
just
though.
signed Zane McIntyre to an entry-level contract out of North
Yeah.
Dakota. They have Martin Jones, and I think Martin Jones would be. I think Martin Jones would have the opportunity to get a starting job. He would have that opportunity, and I think he feels that he's ready for the starting job.
Wait.
He's
What
got to
starting
prove
job?
it.
A starting job?
Just a starting
Okay,
job.
I thought you meant in Boston.
No.
Never mind.
That's Tuukka Rask. That's Tuukka Rask's not. There's no way Boston shoos him out. No way. So, Martin Jones, he believes he's a starter somewhere. I would have loved to see him maybe in a Buffalo uniform, and I'm okay with, Robin Lehner still. Robin Lehner is 23, Martin Jones is 25. But I just like, I don't know. I see Boston holding on to him, seeing if
they're gonna have to
maybe
trade a
sign him
goalie
to
at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Just trade somebody.
Other trade Boston made, which I hate this trade so much.
Trade.
Cannot believe this trade happened. I cannot believe Buffalo didn't
I love
take
it.
a run at
Oh
it.
God.
Dougie Hamilton traded to the Calgary Flames for first-round pick and 2 second-round picks. Now, I said I hated this trade. I hate the trade's value. I love that Boston got ripped off because they did.
Well,
We don't even need to
too
say
it
who
did-
won.
No,
The reason
Calgary
too,
dominated. This
apparently, the reason too, this was a weird thing I found out too. Don Sweeney did not make it clear that Hamilton was available. There was reports coming out that no one knew that Hamilton was available, and if Hamilton was available, Boston would have gotten a lot more for him.
Good job negotiating your opponents against each other. Try to get more Don Sweeney.
Yeah, so he committed a big rookie mistake right there.
Rookie GM.
Yeah.
Don Sweeney. It's showing. Yeah, I think this trade was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So don't have to spend too much time on it. Calgary's D is now loaded. Giordano, Brody, Hamilton, Weidman. Probably missing someone. Russell. So,
Yeah.
good job, Calgary. You just ripped off the Bruins.
Well, congratulations.
Other smaller trades that happened. Antti Ranta goes to the Rangers to be the backup goaltender there.
Trades.
Ryan Haggerty goes back to the Blackhawks. Eric Gryba traded to the Oilers for a 4th-round pick. That's after they traded Martin Marcinian to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a 4th-round pick.
That one was pretty surprising, actually.
Yes.
Marincin.
Marincin?
Yeah, Marincin.
Okay. Sam Gagner traded to the Flyers for Nicholas Grossman and Chris Pronger.
Chris Pronger.
And Gagner, I believe I saw, might be bought out.
Gagne might be up for a buyout. They can't. I mean, the Coyotes, I'm sure they would love to try and buy out Pronger, but he's injured. He can't be bought out.
They could try to convince him to come play. He'd be their best defenseman.
I mean, he pull Mario Lemieux where it would be like, you're elected to the Hall of Fame, and it's like, oh, hey, welcome back.
He could buy the Coyotes probably if he wanted to.
Oh, he probably could.
All right.
He'd probably move them to Portland, too.
Yeah. Don't need to spend too much time on that trade. It's whatever. And then Boston trades a 3rd-round pick in 2017 to Philly for Zach Rinaldo. So Zach Ronaldo is a
That
Bruin.
happened today.
That I feel like that's going to annoy me.
I like to. I mean, it's between Daniel Carcillo and Zach Ronaldo for me. I like to call them
Sean
like the
Avery.
human rat, lab rats.
Lab rats.
The human lab rats of the NHL. Just because they look like rats.
They do.
They really do. Carcillo and Ronaldo, I mean, they both look very similar, and they both look, I mean, it's...
Ronaldo's a little puffier.
But the thing is, they're both dirty players. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They're just both dirty, too. So it just kind of fits the name.
And those are your trades.
Trades.
There it is, last one.
Except for that Conrad Abdelhauser trade. I love
That's my
that-
favorite
Love
trade.
that name.
That's my favorite
For a
trade.
conditional 2016 7th round pick.
Yeah.
I think the Blues just say, hey, this guy's name's Conrad. We should get him.
Maybe.
I would do that.
Oh.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
back to the Buffalo Sabres.
Yes.
What do the Sabres need to make a playoff run?
Darren Poopa.
It is not Darren Poopa.
That
Guarantee you
that
it is not
works.
Darren Poopa. And no, it's not Sean Bergenheim either.
You missed out on. Oh, Brayton
Klepto,
knows.
the cat.
There we go.
All right, let's start with Derek. What is missing from the Sabres to make a playoff run?
a defenseman.
Just any defenseman?
Well, I mean, probably a left-handed shot defenseman.
Okay.
But like an Andre Sekera, Johnny Oduya, one of those kinds of guys would be a good addition, I think. I mean, forwards, I think you're pretty much set. Sign a couple of guys for depth, but that's
Sign
it.
him for Rochester, too.
Sign him for Rochester in depth, yeah. And that's it.
They've only got young guys really in Rochester. Evan Rodriguez.
Yeah,
We've
you need. I mean, you're going to need to sign probably some veteran AHL guys just to fill out the roster. Not only that, to be the veteran people for the kids in Rochester.
Hey, what about just keeping Matt Ellis forever?
No.
Stop.
No.
Stop.
He
It
won't.
just
He
happens.
won't.
He doesn't go away.
He will not want to sign an AHL contract only. He wants to be in the NHL, and the Sabres have no spot for him. They
Matt
have no
Ellis,
spot
stop.
for a guy like Patrick Coletta neither. So,
Matt
Joe,
Ellis, stop.
no more Coletta. Stop it.
Is this the end
Stop.
of the age? Yes.
Stop.
Wait, is he pouting in
Is
there?
it Amber? Not even a one-way AHL contract.
Wait,
Give
Joe.
him something.
Joe, you're upset about that?
I don't want to talk about it.
No,
Coming
because
from the
now
same
you
guy
saying
that
that makes
said
me
that-
want to
No,
ask.
stop. Don't even finish that sentence. Don't even
Coming
finish
from the
that sentence.
same guy that said that Cody Hodgson was comparable to Wayne.
Yes,
Gretzky.
listeners will know that I compared Cody Hodgson once to Wayne Gretzky. Sorry. All right, while we're on the topic, I forgot to bring that up. Cody Hodgson was bought out today. No, waived. He's planning on being bought out.
Good segue.
I'm not happy about it because I think they could have kept him as
boo.
depth.
This might be the best case of addition by
The
subtraction I
most
might have seen.
expensive depth player in the NHL.
They can afford it. They're not even at the cap floor yet.
But at the same time, here's this, Joe.
Creates room for them to sign somebody in free agent. I know
Drew
the
Stafford.
market's. No. Stop. If you say one more stupid thing, I'm going to put your microphone completely off.
Not even half volume. just
No,
right to
it's
off.
going to be completely off, and I will go to. I will just kick you out of here if you say
Wow.
one more thing like that. Drew Stafford has no place on this team anymore.
I don't think he'd want to come back.
Well, now that we've got Ryan O'Reilly and Evander Kane, he might be like,
No, I'm sure he would want to come back.
Well,
he would.
I-
What's-
but
what,
then
do you
he'd
wanna
be
stay
like-
in Winnipeg.
I'm not even thinking about offering him another contract. I would not think about it at all.
Please no. Just don't.
Yeah, I think we're
No.
good.
I want
No.
Michael Frolik. That's the one guy I would love to offer a contract
Yeah,
to. And I think
yeah.
the Sabres, with waiving Cody Hodgson, they might make a push for Frolik.
But where would he go on this roster?
Right wing.
Second
Again,
line.
the forward group here is just stacked.
I know
If
it's
they-
stacked, but still. I mean, you could sign like a Paul Martin type of defenseman, left-handed shot,
Johnny Oduya.
$5 million. Who cares if you sign him for $5 million? 2 or 3 years? Who cares? He's going to fill that role for 2 or 3 years, help this team probably get to the playoffs, maybe 2 years, at least 1 you're hoping. And then maybe you get a guy like Frolik and you have fun mixing around lines and everything like that, and then you never know what's going to happen.
But the question is, who do you take out?
Well, I mean, Larson could start the year, I guess, in Roch. Not wait. This is a one-way.
Well, he hasn't been signed to a deal
He's been
yet.
tendered.
I mean, at this point, it seems like he would start on your fourth line,
if he gets signed, he might do the first year on a two-way and the next year on a one-way.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, there'll
be injuries.
Oh, yeah.
People have to realize that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
what I'm saying, though, is Frolik's a guy you want to sign for a full-time gig.
They need to sign depth, I think, at every position at this point. Because, I mean, even the goalie, Lehner is injury-prone. If you're in a middle of a playoff race, you're trusting Chad Johnson to start. I'm not. And then you've got defensive guys. You've got little depth as it is right now. And then you've got Bogosian and Josh Georges who are injury-prone. And that's why, I'm kind of afraid to bring this guy up because I think Brayton's going to think it's stupid and he's going to throw me out of
with
here.
the buyout of Hodgson, too, you got to understand.
I'm kind of excited.
do you really want me to kick you out?
All right, can I just say this? You can't kick me out. He's the number 1 ranked free agent by Kevin Allen of USA Today Sports.
Is it Sekera?
It's Mike Green.
Mike.
We don't.
I quit.
Why is that bad?
It's not bad,
But it's
just
not good.
They don't have a really good power play defenseman.
He served no purpose on Washington in the playoffs at all. He was a bottom pairing defenseman.
Washington had Niskanen, which plays the same role. But I'm saying the Sabres don't have a defenseman that plays the same role.
But he's
going to
get overpaid stupid money. I'm not willing to overpay Mike Green stupid money because Mike Green wants a contract that's like 5+ years.
I'd give it to him.
No.
If it's
Why
reduced
would you
money,
give it to him?
If 5 years is not that bad. He's 29 years old.
I don't care.
Poor Joe.
The only problem is he's a right-hand defenseman.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got a plethora of right-handed defensemen.
But but you have injuries. You're gonna have injuries. You need depth.
Depth is not Mike Green.
You're gonna sign Mike Green for $6 million
for
5 years.
Well,
for
I don't
depth.
think he's honestly gonna get that.
No, that's exactly.
He's
what
going to be on the free
He's
agent
gonna
market
get
for
it.
a few weeks before making a decision on a deal because no team's going to offer him anywhere north of $6 million.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Unless you're the Devils, which I saw might happen.
The Devils actually might make sense for Mike Green, though. That
would make sense.
That's the sad part.
They need offense from everywhere.
Yeah. So if the Devils sign Mike Green, it's going to be the stupid money, and it probably makes them a better team. But
he doesn't have a
Cody
fifth year.
Franzen shoot left.
Cody Franzen, I believe, is a righty.
He is.
I hate that. So
do you?
All the guys I want are righties.
I mean, if you do want to sign, here's an option. The Sabres could
sign Boschman.
Yes.
I heard they're really trying to peg out a deal in Anaheim to keep him.
Okay.
You could technically buy out David Legwand if you wanted to add another depth forward.
I mean, as of right now,
If you want Johan Larson to be your fourth line
as
center,
of right now too,
which could happen.
As of right now too, you take out Hodgson, and then let's say Reinhardt's at Rochester. We only have 11 forwards, so then Reinhardt comes out, that would make 12. Your team's filled out,
and it might be better for Reinhardt to start out in Rochester in the first place.
So then, as you said earlier about getting Michael Frolik, that makes a lot more sense to get a guy like him.
Yeah. And I would love a guy like Michael Frolik.
I love a guy
great
like Frolik
penalty killer. He can play on the power play.
Yeah.
I mean, really, he's quick. Yeah. I mean, he scored 2 shorthanded goals against Buffalo this past year, and both goals were, breakaway style goals, and he looked phenomenal.
Anyone interested in signing Mike Richards?
No.
Get out.
Stop throwing me out.
He didn't suggest it as something he'd want to do. He just threw the question out there.
The guy I would want is either Frolik or Justin Williams.
Yeah, I would love a guy like
Justin Williams,
or
Michael
if
Frolik.
you could get your hands on Marty St. Louis.
Michael
but you're not gonna be
Frolik
able
would
to.
be right on the top of my wrist, but then Renard
Right on your wrist?
Lavoie from Canada today reported that Montreal is right on the top of Frolik's list of destinations.
Good for him.
Well, he can sign with the division rival of that team instead.
Well, I mean, there's only so much speculation that you could, hand out before.
Canadian media speculating a player signs with a Canadian team?
Juicy rumors.
They could also sign Joel Ward.
Joel Ward would be a nice addition for the Sabres.
Actually
If you lose out on Michael Frolik, I would go after Joel Ward.
Yeah.
I really would.
Yeah.
On this team, he's
more of a role player than Williams is.
He can play left wing. He can play right wing. He's versatile in that way.
He would guarantee you put him on the third or fourth line.
Mm-hmm. Third or fourth line at best.
Yeah.
Anyone want to bring back Chris Stewart?
No.
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 I mean,
I mean, I'm not against it, but
I'm not against it neither. It's just I don't think he fits. I mean, he's still considerably young. Yeah, I know he's not Stafford. He's still young. Chris Stewart is only 27. Yeah, he's young.
Good job, 27.
He's he sort of fits the model. He's not the best of a skater, but
the thing, Murray likes his forwards big and fast.
Yeah,
at least Stewart's big.
Stewart's big. He has shown flashes of him being fast, but I think that
he seems to get breakaways in every game.
Somehow, some way.
I don't know how. He's goal hanging probably.
Yeah, but
he's with the Sabres. He's like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm just goal hanging.
I mean, Chris Stewart would be a good re-signing for the Sabres. I just don't think that he really. I don't want to say that he doesn't fit the model. It's just I think the Sabres are past Chris Stewart.
He has not scored 20 goals since 2009.
That was when he was last with Colorado, right?
Yes, it was his second year in the NHL.
Mm-hmm. So he started out with Colorado, then he went to the Blues, and look how that turned out. Not good.
Other free agents you could possibly sign: Brad Richards. I don't know if he really fills a role here.
No, he doesn't.
Only plays center.
He probably won't even want to come to Buffalo anyway. So he'll want to go to a team that will contend.
He just played for Chicago. He's not going to want to go here.
He might re-sign with Chicago. I can see Chicago re-signing him.
Mike Santorelli is a guy that's potential because he plays pretty much any forward position.
Yeah, I could see Santorelli. I mean, I can honestly see Santorelli re-signing in Toronto. It's a possibility.
Why would anyone want to go back there?
It's beyond me, but Cody Franzen might re-sign in Toronto as well.
I would like Cody Franzen here if he wasn't already.
It'd be a similar situation to the Molson-McCormick trade.
Yeah.
And then, they go back to Buffalo after getting traded to Minnesota. Might be the same thing with Nashville and Toronto. Toronto trades both those guys to Nashville, and they both resign in Toronto in the offseason.
Last forward I'll bring up as a potential signing, Eric Fair.
If he can stay healthy. I mean, he was healthy this year, I think, relatively for most of the year, if I'm correct. I mean,
you would be correct. 75 games.
75 games.
Goals, 14 assists.
So that's relatively healthy. If you could play over 70 games in a season, you're relatively healthy. It's when you start getting to the 60s and 50s that you're banged up considerably. Eric Fair's name
6'4". It's big.
Wasn't Eric Fair a former first rounder?
First round, 18th overall in 2003.
2003.
2003 year.
Yeah. 2003 year. Eric Fair. Do I like the sound of that? I mean, he would fit that third, fourth line role, but I mean, we've got so many left wingers already. Eric Fair is more of a left winger than he is a right winger. He hasn't played much center in his career.
He's listed as a center and left winger.
Center and left winger?
Well, we don't need him to play center.
Right. But, I mean, there's still 1 day left in the buyout period, and Buffalo could buy out David Legwand to create more cap space, but
free agency kicks off on Wednesday.
I don't know. I don't think Tim Murray buys out David Legwand. The priority was Cody Hodgson.
Well, he said that he was going to leave it up to Bilesma, and Bilesma listed him as one of his guys that he would want to start at center.
Hey, Sabres fans, I'm excited to let you know I'm going to be Buffalo Sabre for the next 6 years.
There it is.
Oh, I was waiting for that. That guy will not be playing center. That was Cody Hodgson.
Fans, I'm excited to let you know I'm going to be Buffalo Sabre for the next 6 years.
It was 3 years. Liar.
Hey, Sabres fans, I'm excited to let you know I'm going to be Buffalo Sabre for the next 6 years.
This might get entertaining.
Oh, my gosh. I can't stand it.
Do it again.
Stop. Play the stop drop. No! Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, free agency kicks off on Wednesday, so any of those names, Murray's a big player, so really he could be in on any of them.
Over under on how much money Matt Bolesky's going to get per year from a
too
team.
much. It's going to be.
He's going to get $4 million.
Over under $4 million?
More.
Oh, I would take the over.
5.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna. It's
He
under
might get
over
more.
$5 million. I think you set that. I think you set that limit at $5 million. He wants $5 million.
I think he gets just over.
He is
5.
not even close to a $5 million player.
No.
I wouldn't even pay him $3 million.
Someone's gonna.
He's a pro. It's like with the argument with Talbot. He's a product of the system. He's a product of the system. He's playing second line with Ryan Kessler And who was the right winger that
I
they were
think
playing
Silverberg.
with? Silverberg. Yep. Silverberg. That's a product of your system right there. Matt Bolesky's going to go to a team, get Ville Leno's stupid money, and then do nothing. Unless, he proves everybody
Unless he
wrong.
goes to a contender, he's playing with a great player. Which, usually those contenders don't pay big money for.
But then again, you got to send him. He's got to sign with a team that's very similar to Anaheim, just a physically tough team to play against.
Probably going to go to a team that wants to make him one of their key players.
Yeah,
which
and that's
then he's going to start.
Yeah, then he's gonna really show his true colors and be like, I'm not that great of a player, honestly.
Yeah.
But then again, he might show all of us wrong and then just,
hopefully Toronto's
point in our face and just like, I proved you wrong.
I bet Boston signs him. They've been doing crazy things recently.
But I honestly think he would do well in Boston, though, because it's that style of play.
Yeah, he would play with Krejci or Bergeron. So.
And he would probably take Lucic's role. But then again, Boston's in cap trouble. And if you sign a player like that
they wouldn't be if they would just move on from Chara, for God's sakes. I'm so sick of it.
Juicy rumors.
Like, it makes zero sense why they still have Chara under contract. Buy him out, trade him, do something.
So humongous big.
You tell me the Coyotes wouldn't want him? They just traded for Chris Pronger. They want money.
They want to pay money.
They want to pay people money. Pay that big guy. He takes, what's his cap hit? His cap hit is
a lot. So humongous big.
$6.9 million, and he's under contract until 2019. And he's 38 years old.
Yeah, I think Ilya
and a Hall of Famer
takes it away.
He is a Hall of Famer, but he's shot to me. I heard someone else put it that way, but that's just the way he looks. While we're on the Bruins, do we think the Sabres are better than the Bruins now?
Depends on the day. I mean,
they're younger than the Bruins.
Yes.
That's their advantage right now.
Who will have more points this year, Sabres or Bruins?
I'm going to say the Sabres. I really do. I really think the Sabres are going to have more points than the Bruins.
I got a feeling.
Yeah. Tuukka Rask is the only reason it's going to be close.
I got a feeling.
No, Joe. Get out.
Boston's got one of the best 1-2 punching centers.
If you ask me...
But
is Krejci Bergeron better than Eichel O'Reilly? We don't know yet, I guess.
If you ask me what the...
Fine, Gergensen O'Reilly.
If you ask me what the bottom 5 teams are going to do next year, the bottom 5, like drafting 1 through 5. Where is it? Where is it? I tweet. Oh, there it is. All right, my NHL bottom 5 teams next year. Arizona number 1, obviously.
Toronto 2.
No, Carolina 2.
Oh,
Carolina 2.
By the way, report they were trying to extend Eric Stahl. Continue.
Toronto 3. New Jersey 4. Boston 5.
Poor Chris. Who's 5?
Boston. I think Boston's going to be one of the bottom 5 teams in the league next year.
Well, they're acting like it.
They are, and they're only getting older.
Yep.
They
traded the wrong defenseman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and you re-sign Adam McQuaid. Oh my God!
Wait, we don't like that?
No,
I wanted the Sabres to get him.
No,
why? Joe, are you okay?
Am I having a bad day? I think these.
You're having.
How do you assign a defenseman of Adam McQuaid's stature to a $2.75 million average cap hit per year for 4 more years?
That's nothing.
For Adam McQuaid?
It's Adam McQuaid. That's no money.
Adam McQuaid's nothing but a bruiser defenseman. He can't really skate that well. He's sort of like an elephant he's sort of an elephant on the ice. He is. He's nothing better than that.
Whatever.
Joe, it's okay.
What? Oh my God.
You're really off.
I just don't want Mike Weber in the lineup.
Nobody wants Mike Weber in the lineup, but however, there's nobody else you're really going to get.
He's about to enter the last season of his contract.
And then after that, we can say sayonara to Mike Weber unless
Jake McCabe beats him out this year.
McCabe will beat him out this year.
We don't know.
Not quite yet. It'll be halfway through.
It's possible.
But it's possible.
It's Mike Weber.
He would have to have a really good training camp.
It's Mike Weber.
And he would have to be completely healthy of his concussions.
It's Mike Weber.
It is Mike Weber.
It is Mike Weber.
Always finds a way to hang around, doesn't he?
Yeah, just like Matt Ellis.
No, Matt Ellis is gone.
else.
I'm not saying that he's not gone. I'm just saying he was around for what feels like forever.
Jerry D'Amigo's going to be back in the AHL.
I mean, he was around forever.
Zach Dalpe's gone.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Sabres roster. This is according to Sabres.com.
Oh my gosh, Matt Ellis has been here since 2008.
He's still, I think, isn't he? He's the longest tenured Sabre.
See,
Coletta. Until
whatever.
Wednesday. Until Wednesday, he is the longest tenured Sabre.
And then, Matt Ellis is the second longest tenure. Nick Delorier, Buffalo. If he tries to go to AHL, he's got to go through waivers. Matt Ellis is as good as gone. Tyler Ennis is here. Marcus Foligno's here. Brian Giant is here. Gergensons is here. Hodgson's bought out. Coletta's gone. Kane's here. Larson's, going to be here. Lagwan will probably be here. McCormick will probably be here, although I think that you could probably put McCormick through waivers and send him down to Rochester.
Probably.
I honestly think would.
Did they RFA Veroni, by the way?
Yeah, they're going to offer him a.
They said they're gonna.
But he's going to be in the AHL.
Yeah, they're tendering Veroni, Lewin, Pesic, Leduc, Schaller, and
Larson.
Larson, yeah.
Yeah. McGinn obviously here. Molson here. O'Reilly here. Veroni is in the AHL. Defenseman. Benoit's probably good as gone.
Benoit's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Bogosian's here.
Strachan's as far away as you can get.
Strachan's probably gone. Georges is here. Mazzaros is probably going to be gone.
Most likely.
I think. But, I mean, Mazzaros saved his NHL career. He's going to get a contract from somebody.
Yeah.
Probably Arizona. I really would not be surprised if he was signed by Arizona or Toronto. Just one of those guys that's just,
Or I could see New Jersey signing him.
That might be.
New Jersey always signs those,
Yeah.
past their prime offensive defense.
Mazzaros is only 29, too.
True.
He's been in the league for a while, and I remember last year when we signed him, I was thinking, Mazzaros, yeah, that's okay. He's 32 years old, and I looked at his stats, and he was only 28 at the time. He's only 28? What?
You feel like he's been in the league so long.
Because he's been in the league since he was 22, I think.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Ristolainen, obviously here. Chad Ruedel probably will be in Rochester to begin the year, although he wants to be in the NHL. Strachan gone. Weber, unfortunately, here. Yeah. And that's basically it. Lindback and Hackett for goalies are gone. Lehner and Chad Johnson are here to stay. And then you look at the prospects. Bailey, Baptiste, AHL. Carrier, AHL. Rodriguez, AHL. Catenacci, AHL. John Dupuis is another AHLer that we're going to have.
Yep.
No more Kevin Sunder.
Justin Kia, AHLer. Brad Navin is still a question mark.
Jack Nevins, right?
Brad Navin.
Oh, Brad Navin.
Jack Nevins is
I get them
AHLer.
confused.
Brad Navin is Harvard. He graduated this year. He's up for free agency if he's not signed.
Okay.
Sam Reinhart probably. I'd say he starts in Buffalo probably. Samuels Thomas is a free agent. Schaller's probably in Rochester. Sunder's a free agent. Brady Austin, AHL. Drew Bagnall's a free agent, I believe.
Yes, UFA.
Leduc's going to be in Rochester. McCabe. Pezic's going to be in the NHL.
Yeah.
That's a name we forget about on defense because he wasn't here this past year, and it was like, why aren't you here?
Dennis Pearson.
Oh, stop it.
God, stop it. Stop reminding us of bad memories.
Is it Malik Zagrepin?
That brings me memories of Darcy.
Stop. You're done. You're done.
No.
I turned myself off. You're done for the night.
Joe, it's okay. You're having a bad day.
You're still off. You can scream all you want.
Go home. Get some sleep.
Go home. You're drunk.
We should sign Andrew Lacchiano.
Stop it.
And it's Andre.
Yeah, Andre Lokhtianov to Alexander Mogilny. Great comparison. Great comparison, Joe.
Oh, poor Joe.
Forgive and forget.
Yes.
Hey, you turned it back on.
Yeah.
See, we can't stay mad at you.
For now.
For now, until nothing. Until I bring up a Villy Lano return. Well.
Oh, God. Don't even start.
I'm going to end this before I go off on some other crazy tangent, like how we should bring back Matt Hackett or something. You've been listening to Neutral Ice on 91.3 FM WBNY Buffalo. Listen to us on YouTube at the WBNY Buffalo page. You can follow me on Twitter at DiBiase WBNY. You can follow Brayton at BJ Wilson WGR. You can follow Derek Kramer at Derek Kramer 49 and Frank Arcuri at Frank Arcuri. You can follow Neutral Ice at Neutral Ice WBNY and our blog at neutralice.sportsblog.com. I know Brayton posted his draft rankings on there, maybe?
I posted
Someone
the
posted draft
NHL
rankings on there.
awards.
Yes, someone posted draft rankings on there, so you can go check those out. We'll be back next Monday at 8 o'clock. Free agency is on Wednesday. We'll recap that, as well as any other moves the Sabres make and around the NHL. You've been listening to Neutral Ice and 91.3 FM WBNY.